Hi, I'm James Schellinglaw, and I'm here today with Asta Lassassen, who is the president of Hurtigruten Expeditions. Now, if you haven't heard of Hurtigruten Expeditions, you should. It's one of the major expedition cruise lines in the business today. I've been lucky enough to go on one of their ships, and we're going to talk to Asta about Hurtigruten and a whole lot more on Insider Travel Report. Now, so we've never met before, but it's been great to see you and meet you here. And tell us a little bit about Hurtigruten. And first of all, how many ships do you have in the fleet?
So first, it's great to meet you, James, and thank you so much for taking the time. So to our fleet, we have 7 beautiful ships in the Hurtigruten Expedition fleet. They are all in the small ship segment, and they are purpose-built for expedition cruising. The design, they're all modern, both when it comes to the interior, but also when it comes to technology, which is very important for us. And 3 of the ships, they are hybrid-powered ships, and our newest ship, Fridtjof Nansen, was awarded as the safest and greenest ship in the world for 2022, which of course makes us very, very proud.
And of course, all your ships have very interesting names, and I always mispronounce the name. Now, what are the 3, the newest ones? What are they?
They are Roald Amundsen and Fridtjof Nansen. They're all named after our very proud polar pioneers in Norway.
Absolutely. Now, talk a little bit about the roots of Hurtigruten to begin with, because you started really as, we knew them here in the States as first Norwegian Coastal Voyages, or then there was Bergen Line, and then you decided to adopt the Hurtigruten name, which is the Norwegian name for the service, because you really started as a ferry service between different towns in Norway, right?
Yeah, but actually we did our first expedition cruise back in 1896.
Oh, so you're experienced.
Exactly. We have a very strong legacy also when it comes to expedition cruising. So we did the first sailing from Hammerfest in the northern part of Norway to Longyearbyen on Svalbard, which we also operate today.
So you do have a long history in this, and so a great experience. Now, what's your background? How did you get into travel, and how did you end up here?
Well, I've had 15 amazing years in the Hurtigruten family, and with my background from finance, I was first introduced to this very interesting industry by being the CFO in Hurtigruten Group. And I have to say, I'm so privileged being a part of a company with a strong passion for people and also how we develop talents. So I've had great opportunities in this company. I've had different roles, and now from March last year, I had the great pleasure of taking lead on Hurtigruten Expeditions.
How many of those expeditions have you been on yourself?
Oh, many. Yeah. Only this year I've been on 5 expedition cruises, and more to come.
Wow. Now, talk a little bit about where you go. Obviously, you go to Antarctica, you go to the Arctic. Where else does Hurtigruten go, and what are your itineraries?
So we have a lot of interesting destinations in our portfolio. As you mentioned, Antarctica. We also do Galapagos. We do Alaska. We do Greenland, Svalbard, Iceland, British Isles, Norwegian coast, and also from 23, West Africa. And
that's a new one. That's
a very exciting one. So we look very much forward inviting our guests to join us on these very new sailings to West Africa.
Now, in terms of the ships that you offer, how many different kinds of Antarctica sailings do you do?
So with the global distribution, where we have seen a lot of growth, especially from US, which of course makes us very happy, it is important for us to be able to offer as much flexibility to our guests as possible. And I think the Antarctica season, the upcoming season, is a great example of that, where we have 3 ships, 2 of them operating out of Ushuaia in Argentina and 1 out of Punta Arenas in Chile. And with that, we are also able to offer different length of the cruises. So if you don't have that much time, you could do a 10-day cruise to Antarctica. If you would like to do the in-depth experience, including Falklands, South Georgia, you should do the 21-day sailing out of Punta Arenas.
Well, and actually doing those islands is actually some of the, I saw most of the penguins I've seen are on the islands like around Antarctica, not necessarily on the main continent. So you do see them, but you see tons of them elsewhere, right?
Exactly, but we definitely can promise that you will see penguins even though you do the shorter itinerary.
Now, in the other division, you have the one that cruises Norway. It's not the one you oversee, but obviously one time you were CFO the whole time. So it's first of all, what's the division called?
It's called Hurtigruten Norway. That's the company, and the product is the Hurtigruten Coastal Express.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the one that we talked about that might have done the mail service, and you can take those cruises all around Norway, which is a fantastic destination as well.
Yes, exactly. And they have 7 ships doing a fixed schedule from Bergen in south to Kirkenes in the far north.
Now, one of the things that you've just recently done, you've really expanded dramatically into Galapagos. Let's talk about that, because I believe you have a new partnership with a company that I know, Metropolitan Touring, which I was able to go on one of their cruises last year, and it was an amazing cruise. So you're working with them on Galapagos cruises now, right?
Yes, so Galapagos has been on our wish list for many, many years. And finally, actually in the middle of the pandemic, we were able to enter into a partnership with Metropolitan Touring, and also with that, we launched our first expedition cruise on the Galapagos Islands in January 2022.
Have you done that one yourself?
I have done that myself. I did it in March this year, and I have to say it was amazing.
It is pretty amazing. It really is another kind. It's one of those quintessential expedition cruises that you got to do, obviously in Arctic, and of course Galapagos, and then you also do Alaska, right?
We also do Alaska, and in 2023 there will be an epic moment in the Northwest Passage, as we will have our 2 hybrid-powered cruise ships, Roald Amundsen and Fridtjof Nansen. They will actually meet in the Northwest Passage.
That would be, and so they'll be right there together. That's going to be an amazing moment. Hopefully, you're going to get a chance to do that.
I hope so.
Yeah. Now, one of the things we talked about earlier, your ships, you really have focused the company so much on sustainability. And in fact, we're actually here. We're at the New York International Travel Show, and Asta is going to be on the keynotes. And really, the focus of this panel is sustainability and tourism. So, talk a little bit about Hurtigruten's approach to sustainability.
Yeah, first of all, I mean, sustainability is not something new for Hurtigruten. We have been focusing a lot on sustainability over the last 10 to 15 years. And just to give you some examples about our commitment to sustainability, we have been advocating for a ban on heavy fuel oil in Svalbard and also on the Norwegian coast. And now we have finally succeeded with that, which just says something about what you can achieve if you're really, really committed. We did also ban all unnecessary single-use plastic on board our ships in 2018 as the first company in the industry. And then we, of course, introduced the world's first hybrid-powered cruise ship in 2019. So there's a lot of things when it comes to technology and emissions, but we're also investing a lot in our product when it comes to sustainability, because we like to say that sustainability is an integrated part of everything we do. And what does that actually mean? It means that we are allowing the guests to also truly immerse themselves in this. And you would recognize that when you are on board our ships, as we do have lecture halls, obviously, but we also have science centers, we have science labs, which allow us also to offer citizen science project to our guests when they are on board.
So you can be a citizen scientist when you're on the ship, right?
I worked for NASA when I was on board one of our ships.
That's pretty cool. That's really...
It's very cool.
Yeah. Now, and the other thing as far as you've done things like eliminate plastics, which, we think of that's old hat, but it really is a step forward. And if you were in cruising back in the 80s or 90s, there was a ton of plastic that got put in the seas by ocean-going cruise ships. It's mostly ended now, but you were guys one of the first to get rid of it, right? Yeah,
we are constantly challenging ourselves, and also through that we are also trying to push boundaries, not only for ourselves, but also for the industry as a whole.
Now, how important are travel advisors to Hurtigruten, to booking your company and its products, and how do you work with them?
So they are very important for us, and we like to think about them as our extended arm, not only because they are doing a great job filling our ships with guests, but also because they are great ambassadors, both for our product and our brands. And we have been investing a lot in our travel advisors. One example is that we have now tripled the salespeople we have in our US office in terms of for them being able to spend more time together with the travel advisors. We have also not only invested in our B2C portal, but we have actually developed a B2B portal in order to make it easier for our travel advisors to get to know who we are, what we do, training programs, and of course also make it easier for them to book.
Absolutely. So you're helping now. Anything else you'd like to say to our audience? We go out to about 109,000 travel advisors out there in their market, and we segment them by what they sell. Many of them do sell expedition cruises now, because it is the hot topic these days. And I just finished a whole panel on expedition cruising, and now we're going to do another one on sustainability. But anything else you'd like to say to them?
I would just like to thank them for all their support and the great effort. And I also truly hope that they will continue to stay on this amazing journey together with us in Hurtigruten Expeditions, because there's a lot of exciting things ahead.
I know that's true, and I'm looking forward to it too. Hopefully I'm going to figure out a cruise I can go on with you guys soon. Maybe it'll be that one where you meet, in the two ships meet on the Northwest Passage. Now, where can travel advisors go to get more information about Hurtigruten?
They could visit our B2B portal, or they could, of course, also contact one of our sales agents, especially in US, which will be very relevant.
Fantastic. Well, Asta, thank you for taking the time to talk to us about Hurtigruten. It's a company I've been fascinated with for years. I actually had your CEO, Daniel, on a panel before COVID, and we were talking about sustainability. I've been lucky enough to go on one of your ships briefly, to one of the newest ones, the Hybrid Electric, which actually is a tour in itself, because it's just the way it's powered and the way it's structured is just fascinating. And if you ever go on one of these ships, you've got to go take the tour of the ship, because it really is a different way and a different approach to powering a ship. So again, thank you so much, and I'll say good luck on the panel before we do it. Let's see how we do. Hopefully we'll be okay.
Thank you so much, James.
I'm James Schillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.